Today my topic is Tennessee Williams drama A Streetcar Named Desire. About Tennessee Williams. Actually his full name is Thomas Lanier Williams III. He is known by his pen name Tennessee William. Eugene O'Neill, Arthur Miller and Tennessee William were the three foremost playwrights of the 20th century American drama. Tennessee William was born in Columbus, Mississippi, United States in the year 1911. He got a name and fame among the people after the publication of his masterpiece, The Class Menagerie. Actually, this play closely reflected his own unhappy family life. It's about his own sister, Rose, who has been suffered from insanity, that is madness. And other famous work of Tennessee William. One is Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. The another one is Sweet Bird of Youth. The next one is Summer and Smoke. For A Streetcar Named Desire and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. For these two dramas, he received Pulitzer Prize. His drama, A Streetcar Named Desire, is on shortlist of finest American play of the 20th century, alongside Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night and Arthur Miller's A Death of a Salesman. Most of his work has been adapted for the cinemas. And he is not only a dramatist and also short story writer and poet. And this work, A Streetcar Named Desire, it was published in the year 1947. Now, characters of the story. The main character of the story is Blanche DuBois, heroine of the story. The whole story centers around her. She is 30 years old. She was a high school English teacher in Laurel, Mississippi, until she was forced to leave her post. The next main character is Stella DuBois, sister of Blanche. She is 25 years old. Another character is Stanley Kowalski, and he is a husband of Stella. The next character is Harold Mitch. The another name is Mitchell. He is friend of Stanley. The next character is Eunice, Stella's friend, upstairs neighbor. And the next character is Steve, husband of Eunice. The next character, Alan Gray, ex-husband of Blanche DuBois. And Bam Blow, Stanley's poker buddy. Next character is Shep Huntley. He is a multi-millionaire, but he never appears on stage. The next character name is Shaw. He is a merchant who travels regularly through Laurel. Another name of this drama is The Poker Night. That is A Streetcar Named Desire or The Poker Night. Poker, it means a card game. So in this story, the poker companions are Stanley and his friends Harold Mitch, Eunice and Pablo. And this drama consists of 11 scenes. Here scene 1, the setting of the play. The scene is laid in a 2-story corner building on street called Elysian Fields in the city of New Orleans. This locality is very poor And this building contains two flats. One is upstairs and other one is downstairs. And we can almost feel the warm breath of the brown river. Beyond the river, warehouses with their faint smell of bananas and coffee. And we can also hear the music of Negro entertainers at a bar room around the corner of the streets. A piano being played by Negro, and this blue piano music which we can always hear in this locality evokes the spirit of the life which goes on in Elysian Fields. So next one is Elysian Fields as a cosmopolitan. That means it is suitable city for all the people. So in this place there is no racial discrimination. As the scene opens, we find two women, an American and a Negro, talking on the steps of the building. The white woman is Eunice, who occupies the upstairs flat. The colored woman is her neighbor, for New Orleans is a cosmopolitan city with a free mingling of races in the old part of town, that is Elysian Fields. Above the music of the blue piano, the voices of people on the street can be heard overlapping. The Negro woman is having a smutty gossip about a woman neighbor. Just then, a neighbor woman meets a sailor. That sailor asked her about a bar in Elysian Fields. A Negro woman advises him not to waste his money in that fleecing bar. The conversation is overlapped by the voice of the vendor and others in the busy street humming with life. Here the next is introduction of Stanley and Mitch. The two men come round the corner of the street, and they are Stanley Kowalski and Mitch. Stanley is 28 years old and Mitch is 30 years old. And Stanley is carrying a red-stained package of meat bought from a nearby butcher's shop. And they just stop at the foot of the staircase where Eunice and the colored women are standing. Stanley's conversation with his wife Stella. So here Stanley calls out his wife Stella. Stella comes out on the first floor landing, and she is a young gentlewoman of about 25 and of a background obviously quite different from her husband. And he gives the meat packet to Stella. Then moving around the corner, and Stella learns from Stanley that he and Mitch are going to the bowling alley to play there. Stella offers to come and watch his play, and he asks her to come with them. Stella sees Eunice on the first floor and exchanges happiness, and Eunice asks Stella to tell Steve, that is her husband, at the bowling alley to get him a poor boy's sandwich because she has no stock of them at home. So in this word, a poor boy's sandwich, it contains many meanings. So it throws all three women into laughter. Stella goes out with Stanley and Mitch. Here the next thing is very important scene, that is the arrival of Blanche DuBois, that is heroine of the story. Eunice notices the arrival of a stranger, that is a young woman. The stranger, Blanche, comes around the corner of the street carrying a travel bag. She is checking up the correct door number and addresses of her relations there with the help of a slip of paper in her hand. She looks at the building where Eunice is standing with the Negro women again and again with utter shock. Her appearance is quite a contrast to the setting of the Elysian Fields. She is smartly dressed in a white suit, necklace, earrings of pearl, white gloves and hat. She looks that she is arriving at a cocktail in the Garden State, that is party. She is about 30 years, being 5 years older than Stella. Her delicate beauty cannot stand strong. On seeing the frantic behavior of Blanche, a stranger to the locality, Eunice asks her if she has lost her way. Blanche tells Eunice that she has been directed at the railroad station, where she asked to take a streetcar named Desire and then change over to one called Cemetery. Here, the symbolism is, if we supposed to have lots of desire in our life, our end is, that is cemetery, here death. And get off at Elysian Fields. Eunice informs her that she is at Elysian Fields already, and she then asks Blanche for the door number of the flat she is looking for. And knowing that it is 632, she assures the visitor that she is right at the correct number. At this, Blanche tells Eunice that she is looking for her sister Stella Dubois, who is now Mrs. Stanley Kowalski. Eunice tells her that the party is living in the flat right in front of her. She tells Blanche that she has just missed meeting Stella because she left home only a little ago. Blanche is shocked to learn that Stella is living at such a cheap locality in a cramped flat. Eunice tells her that Stella and her husband lived at the downstairs flat and she at the upstairs flat. And Blanche asks Eunice if Stella has gone out. Eunice tells her that Stella has gone with her husband to the bowling alley at the corner of the street to watch her husband play bowling. Eunice then asks Blanche if she wants to leave her suitcase there and go to the bowling alley to find Stella. And Blanche says that she has no such intention. At this, the Negro woman offers to go to the bowling alley and tell Stella about the arrival of guest. And Blanche thanks the Negro woman for the timely help. The Negro woman says that Blanche is quite welcome to their locality. Eunice asks Blanche if Stella was not expecting her. Blanche tells Eunice that Stella may not have expected her that night. Eunice then suggests that Blanche can get in and relax herself till Stella and Stanley return home. When Blanche feels delicate to do so, Eunice tells her that they are the owner of the building and so she can let Blanche into the flat of Stella. Eunice opens the downstairs doors and shows Blanche in. It is a two-room apartment. The one first entered is a kitchen and there is a folding bed. The room beyond the kitchen is a bedroom. Of this room is a narrow door to a bathroom. On noticing the look of disappointment in the face of Blanche, Eunice states defensively that the apartment is somewhat untidy right now, but when it is kept clean, it is quite excellent. Eunice tells that she supposes to be the sister of Stella. Blanche says that Eunice is right and thanks for letting her into Stella's apartment. Eunice tells that Blanche is a school teacher. She guesses that Blanche must have come from Mississippi, where they have their plantation. Blanche tells Eunice that the name of their home place is Belle Reve. Actually, this word is taken from the French word. It means beautiful dream. Eunice says that she has seen a picture of Belle Reve shown by Stella. She has found it to be a mighty big place with white columns. She feels that it will be quite hard to maintain such a big place as their Belle Reve. Blanche feels that Eunice is intruding into her privacy a little too much and expresses her desire to be left alone somewhat impatiently. So this is the actual character of Blanche. Eunice feels offended and she leaves Blanche alone. Now in the next part is the Blanche's outburst to Stella. That is, she is going to reveal many things to Stella what happened in her life. So here Stella comes quickly around the corner of the building and runs to the door of the downstairs flat and rushes in, calling Blanche joyfully. For a moment the sisters stare at each other for a moment. Then Blanche springs up and runs to Stella with a wild cry, calling out her name endearingly, and they embrace each other fondly. Then Blanche has a close look at her sister Stella and admires her beauty. She asks Stella not to look at her until she has bathed and rested well. But she expresses her disappointment at Stella having chosen such a horrible place to live in. However, she feels sorry for having hurt Stella by her remarks. She also complains that Stella has not said a word to her so far. At this, Stella says that Blanche has not given her chance to speak. Blanche then asks Stella to open her pretty mouth and talk while she looks around for some liquor. Stella asks Blanche to rest and let her pour the drinks for her. Blanche asks Stella why she did not write to her beforehand that the place is very bad and uninhabitable. Stella says that Blanche is somewhat prejudiced about the place. In fact, it is not that bad at all as given about by Blanche. New Orleans is not so bad as other American cities. And Blanche tells Stella how she happened to get away from the school before the spring term had ended. Stella thought that Blanche might have resigned. Then Blanche tells Stella that she was so exhausted by all the unpleasant experiences shared through that her nerves become very weak. So she says that she was on the verge of madness. Mr. Graves, the superintendent of the high school, suggested that Blanche take leave till she received her normal health. But this is not true. At the end of the story only we come to know what actually happened in her life. The next part is Blanche complains to Stella that so far she has not said a single word about her appearance. Stella at once compliments on her sister, saying that she looks fine. However, Blanche says that Stella has put on some weight. She feels that Stella should correct the excess growth around the hips. She asks Stella to stand up so that she can have a close examination of her sister's figure. Though Stella feels embarrassed at this command of Blanche because she is pregnant. She asks Stella if she has employed a maid servant to assist her. Stella replies that she has not chosen to employ one as their apartment is very manageable, having only a couple of rooms. Blanche tells Stella that she has not added 1 ounce of weight in the last 10 years. She recalls to Stella that was the summer that their dad died and Stella left them least bothered about Bellerive and its inmates. Stella, feeling a little weary, says that it is quite unbelievable how well Blanche is looking in spite of the passage of time. At this, Blanche remarks that she still have the terrible vanity about her looks, even though she is quite aware that her looks are fast fading. It is not possible for her to retain her good looks after all the unpleasant experiences she had to face. Then she begins to wonder where Stella will accommodate her in the 2-room apartment. Stella tells Blanche that they will put her in the kitchen and gives her the folding bed. Blanche is not very happy about the arrangement. She points out to Stella that she cannot have privacy as there is no door between the kitchen and the adjoining room. Blanche tells Stella that she has brought nice clothes to meet all her lovely friends in Elysian Field. And she asks Stella whether Stanley will like her to stay with them or will she be just a visiting girl. She further informs that Stanley was a master sergeant in the engineering corps, and she also points out to her sister the military decoration won by Stanley and many other things about Stanley which made her choose him. Then Blanche enquires Stella how Stanley reacted when she said to him that Blanche was coming to stay with them. Stella tells Blanche that he does not yet know that she was coming to their house. On asking why Stella has not told him about it, Stella informs Blanche that his job requires a lot of travel and Stanley was away on tour. The next part is Blanche is going to disclose the loss of Bellerive to Stella. And Blanche then, with a feeling of uneasiness, tells Stella that she has not asked her the thing she probably thought that she was going to ask. And she wants Stella to take into consideration that how she left Bellerive and how she struggled. She adds that Stella came to New Orleans and looked out for herself. But she stayed at Bellerive and tried to retain it from slipping out of her hands. By saying this, she does not mean to offend Stella, but she wants Stella to consider the entire burden of maintaining Bellerive and its inmates fell on her shoulders. Stella becomes annoyed with Blanche and asks her to stop her hysterical outburst and ask her what really happened to Bellerive. And Blanche tells Stella that she knew that her sister would put the blame on her for the loss of Bellerive. Stella becomes shocked to hear this a reply. As confirmed by Blanche, they stare at each other. Blanche slowly nods her head, and Stella looks slowly down at her hands folded on the table. The music of the blue piano grows louder. Blanche wipes the sweat on her face with a kerchief. Stella, slowly recovering herself from the shock, enquires of Blanche how Bellerive went out of her hands and what happened. Blanche begins to narrate how she lost Bellerive. As Stella had left, she had to face the difficult task of facing the chain of deaths and funeral expenses. Stella just came home in time for the funerals, but funerals are quiet and pretty compared to deaths. Blanche had witnessed the terrible pangs of her dying relations, their father, mother, Margaret, that is their sister, and old cousin Jessie, one after another. As death had pitched a tent in Bellerive, the family homestead slipped through her fingers. None of the dead relations left them any legacy or any insurance money on his or her life. Only poor Jessie had left £100 for her coffin. She had only a meagre salary at the school. So after hearing this, Stella becomes hurt at the crude rebuff of her sister and asks her to keep quiet herself. In the next part is Stanley's return and his meeting with Blanche. So in this place, Stanley and his friends decided to play poker the next day at Stanley's home. Eunice from upstairs indulges in a light-hearted quarrel with her husband Steve. Stanley enters his apartment. He throws the screen door of the kitchen open and comes in. At this entry to the kitchen, he stares at Blanche as if he is seizing her up. Blanche, unable to stand a stare, and says that she supposes him to be Stanley, and she introduces herself to him as Blanche, the sister of Stella, his wife. He then tells Blanche that he actually did not know that Blanche was coming to them. He then asks her where from she comes and learns that she is from Laurel. And Blanche says that she is a teacher. At this he asks her what she teaches at school, and she tells him that she teaches English. Stanley says that he was never good at English as a student. Then he straightaway asks her how long she proposes to stay with them. Blanche tells him that she is not yet sure of that. At this, Stanley asks her if she intends to stay with them permanently, and Blanche tells him that if it is not inconvenient to him and Stella, she thought she would stay with them, for she has been worn out of travel. Stanley asks her to take it easy. He asks her if she was not married once. At this, polka music rises up, faint in the distance. Blanche tells him that she was married when she was quite young. When Stanley asks her further, she tells him that the young boy to whom she was married died. After saying this, she feels suddenly sick. She sinks back down with her head falling in her arms. So overall in this scene, the Blanche comes to Elysian Fields with high hopes to stay with her sister Stella and her husband Stanley Kowalski. She comes here having lost the ancestral plantation home, Belle Reve in Mississippi. So far scene 1 over. The remaining scenes we will see in our next session. Thank you so much.